All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to our third video. Getting ready for our fourth unit test. We're on number 8 now. It says, what is the degree of this polynomial? So to solve this one, what we have to do is we have to count the number of turning points. So you can see there's a turning point here and a turning point here. So that means there are 2 turning points. So to get our degree, what we have to do is we say the 2 turning points. So I'm going to say 2 turning points. And we're going to add 1 to it. So however many turning points you have on the test, you add 1 to it, and that will give you your degree, which in this case is 3. So therefore, it's got to be third, which is option A. Answer A. All right, the next one is a word problem. It says the height h of a rock dropped from a tree is given by the function h of t equals negative 16t squared plus h of 0. Where t is the time in seconds and h sub 0 is the initial height of the rock in feet. Steve dropped the rock from a height of 25 feet. Write an inequality that can be used to find the value of t for which the height is less than 4 feet. All right, so we need to fill out some parts. So the first part we're going to start with is we're going to say h of t equals negative 16 t squared. All right. So first of all, we're going to talk about the h sub 0. So h sub 0 represents the initial height that Steve dropped the rock from. So if we notice, that's going to be 25. So we're going to say plus 25. So at this point, we would be done. However, it says write an inequality that can be used to find the value of t for which the height is less than 40 feet. So instead of an equal sign, we're going to have a less than symbol. So we're going to rewrite it as negative 16t squared plus 25. And we're going to say less than, which it points this way, 4. So again, pay attention to how it says on the test. It may say greater than. If it's greater than, then the symbol flips. But it's going to stay essentially the same thing. So remember, all we're doing is finding out h sub 0, which in this case is 25. That was our initial height, and then the 4 was what the question asked for. It wanted an inequality that shows less than 4. All right. On number 10, this is an odd problem where we're going to divide 77, which is our exponent, by 4. When we do that, we wind up with 19.25. All right. So again, we're looking at our rules, 0.25. If it ends in 0.25, it's going to be just the letter I, and that's going to be option A, or letter A. I forgot to circle the one on number 9. I apologize. It's going to be A as well. All right. So number 11 asks us to consider the quadratic inequality. What solution given to the inequality? All right. So we're going to go back to Desmos. Get rid of that. And again, we're going to type in exactly as it shows up on our screen or on your paper. So it's x to the second minus 1, and then we're going to say greater than x plus 17. So as you can see, the shaded areas are outside the dashed lines. So we want to get that. That means we're going to have 2 statements. And these are our numbers. We're going to have negative 3.772 and 4.772. Now, if you notice, that basically means that we're going to have to round, because if we look at the answer choices, none of them match up. So the only one that's close to it, because remember, we want all the values that are less than negative 3.77 or negative 4, and all the values that are greater than 4.77 or greater than 5. So the only one that does that is option B, or answer B. All right. So again, if the outside areas are shaded, you're going to have 2 statements. If the inside area is shaded, you're going to have 1 statement. All right. And then for number 12, it asks us to factor this, and I showed you this in class. But if you just want to go back and look at it, first thing I want to do is I want to draw an X, and the last number, which is negative 35, goes on top, and the middle number, which is 2, goes on the bottom. So now what I want to do is this is my factors of 35. And I want to find all of the factors that when I multiply them together, they give me 35. So 1 times 35, that's a set of factors. 5 times 7 is also another set of factors. So now we have, and that's the only two factors or two sets of numbers that when we multiply them together, they give us 35. Well, we also want to get the bottom number, which is 2. So that means that now we have to ask which of these sets of numbers, when I add or subtract them, will give me a positive 2. So in order to do that, I have to change both of the smaller numbers to negative and the bigger number to a positive sign. So then negative 1 plus 35 is 34, and negative 5 plus 7 is positive 2. All right? So from there, that means that negative 5 and positive 7 are my factors. So that means that when I rewrite my binomial, I'm going to say x minus 5, parentheses, x plus 7. All right? And the only one that has an x plus 7 and an x minus 5 is B. Now, if you get stuck here and this method doesn't work for you, since it is a multiple choice test, I will tell you, you can plug each of your answer choices into Desmos and see which one matches the original function, or you could do FOIL or double distribute on each of your answer choices to see which one gives you the original problem. But I think it's just easier to factor. But if the other way is easier for you, I'm not going to complain. Thank you, and I will end the video here, and we'll start with get ready to start video number 4.